Every club wants to be the one to develop the next Jude Bellingham. The next great youngster is probably out there somewhere. We've just got to find them. With that being said, here are 10 youngsters to watch in next season's championship. 1. Chris Rigg, Sunderland. There's plenty to choose from up at Sunderland, but midfielder Rigg really stands out. He was used in the FA Cup in January while still a 15-year-old. He turned 16 in June and he's surely going to be in that first team squad picture at Sunderland sooner rather than later. Manager Tony Mowbray there, he wasn't afraid to build around a prodigy in Harvey Elliott when he had him on loan at Blackburn. Surely he won't be able to resist doing the same with Chris Rigg. 2. Morgan Rogers, Middlesbrough. Now, I've put wide man Morgan Rogers in as this really feels like time to go for him now. Big reputation at Man City, did well in League One on loan at Lincoln, at Bournemouth on loan, maybe a bit lost in the shuffle as they were pushing for promotion. And look, it was always going to be tough at Blackpool and they were ultimately relegated last season. Borough under Carrick were an attacking force last season with loanees Ramsey and Archie really standing out. Time for a standout season, methinks, for 20-year-old Rogers. 3. Archie Gray, Leeds. Okay, look, I've probably been a bit seduced by the name here as Archie Gray is a relative of Leeds legend Eddie Gray, but just below those youngsters who've already been used by Leeds, 17-year-old midfielder Gray is lurking around that first team squad picture at Elland Road. New boss Daniel Farker trusted youngsters Lewis, Godfrey, Aarons, Cantwell in his 2 title-winning teams at Norwich. With 46 games and 9 subs to get through here, we could be starting to see Archie Gray in EFL action very soon. 4. Don Ballard, Southampton. Now, like at Sunderland, there's plenty of youngsters kind of already in the first team picture at Southampton. So let's go into the background, and in the striking positions, we find 18-year-old Dom Ballard, who banged the goals in for Saints B team and also scored on his first team debut in the Carabao Cup. He's just been given a 2-year contract extension through to 2026, and although Southampton could go down the route of loaning him out, something tells me Ballard is going to be sent down a different path to that. 5. Romain Esse, Millwall. Esse has already made his EFL breakthrough down the right-hand side at Millwall last season. The 18-year-old came off the bench 12 times and will likely be eyeing that first start as we go into the new season. We flagged up Billy Mitchell in these videos before, and he has now got over 100 appearances for Millwall by the age of 22. There is clearly a pathway for Esse at Millwall under Gary Rowett if he can go out and grab it next season. 6. George Hall, Birmingham. Birmingham are getting quite the reputation with their youngsters, rightly so, and George Hall is basically already an established championship midfielder ahead of his 19th birthday later this week. Hall made 13 starts last season in the chaos of central midfield in the championship, and if he's a regular first teamer for just the majority of Blues games next season at the standards he's already been setting, then his value and interest in him is going to increase very, very quickly. Guys, thank you so much for all the sign-ups over on Patreon. Join us, www.patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Get yourself some extra content, previews of my articles, join our WhatsApp group, and have the chance to debate me and the gang face-to-face on our regular roundtable shows. 7. Ryan Andrews, Watford. As Watford's season fizzled out last year, they did take the chance to throw in plenty of youngsters and test them out as things wound down. Fullback Ryan Andrews, he got his debut in the FA Cup under Slaven Bilic and was pretty much the starting right back for the final month of the season under Chris Wilder. Obviously, being Watford, there's another new manager there in Big Val Ismail, but if he fancies giving an 18-year-old right back a go as his first choice, then Andrews is ready and waiting. 8. Etienne Camara, Huddersfield. Bit of a gamble, this one, I have to say. French midfielder Camara broke into the Huddersfield team at 19 during their pretty dismal autumn period last season. Now, unfortunately for Camara, when Huddersfield's stock was low, his was high. But when Huddersfield's stock was high during that great escape under Neil Warnock, Camara's was low, as Warnock didn't really fancy him. Now, the gauntlet has been laid down by Warnock ahead of next season, so Camara could be a bit of a start if he buys into what his wise old manager wants him to do, or we might not see him very much in the EFL at all. 9. Adam Wharton, Blackburn. Right, this one is less of a gamble, as surely the next step for Adam Wharton at Blackburn is to become a first team regular. Wharton broke into Blackburn's midfield early last season, looked very silky too. Injury issues and Jean Dahl Thomason being cautious with him then limited him to 12 starts, decent enough, could have been way more, but revealingly he ended the season with a run of appearances and starts that might well indicate he's going to be a regular next season. If his body can stand up to the rigours of the EFL, this has the makings of probably a home run for Blackburn. 10. Sinclair Armstrong, QPR. Now, Armstrong's been hyped up for probably 18 months or so, certainly I've been hearing about him. He's just turned 20 and was used off the bench plenty last season. Now, things are very chaotic at QPR right now, with directors of football, club captains, major shareholders all heading for the exit. So it may be Gareth Ainsworth will be hoping that the direct attacker Armstrong can make the step up into the first team, solve him a problem there. He can use what could be a tough season, Armstrong, as his opportunity to break into regular second-tier football. There's 10 players I'm excited to see potentially develop in the Championship next season. Just to be very clear, they are not the only 10 players I'm excited to see next season. Don't get cross if you think I missed somebody out. Get involved in the comments. Now, I get that most people are going to suggest players from the club they support, so try and focus on just the top pick. Don't give me a list. And where possible, someone who might not yet have broken through at EFL level. If you want to see how foggy my crystal ball normally is, then click here to see my picks for Championship youngsters going all the way back to 2020.